Hello, you are listening to the Tiny Vet Podcast. I am Dr. Nicole Sue. I am an exotics veterinarian, and I am joined by my fiance.
A non-doctor. That's it, my whole introduction. Hi, I'm Jez. Hello.
He has instead chosen to become a comedian.
I did not finish my doctorate.
He did not.
Out of politeness, I submitted it as a master's, so that's fine.
That was not our politeness. You just couldn't do it anymore.
It was. No, I didn't want. No, I wanted to not do it at all. And my doctoral supervisor said, "We look real bad if you don't finish." So out of politeness, I went back in for a couple of months and wrote it up and submitted it.
That poor guy.
She's a woman. Doctors can be women. It's 2021. What are we talking about today?
That, again, pretty controversial. Children shouldn't own pets.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like I know the tone.
Oh, 100%. But look.
That's coming. All right.
Children shouldn't own pets, but their parents can.
Right.
So, and this is something I feel very strongly about. Animals are not a toy or a teaching opportunity.
All right. I see why they're not, but also they are.
Excuse me?
No, I see your position.
Get out of my house.
But animals are for... definitely animals are part of recreation, and I agree with that thing of like, oh, animals are a good way to introduce the concept of death to a child.
Oh!
I don't think you should kill it, but I definitely think it's gonna die.
Oh my god!
Before people they know die, probably.
He's already in therapy.
It's training wheels.
It took me a long time to get him. He's been in therapy for a year now. It's obviously we've got a long way to go.
All right, tell me why I'm wrong.
So children are not able to do most of the things that pets need.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So make medical decisions, ensure that the husbandry is ideal, critical thinking, like they're not able to do a lot of things. They can't actually legally consent to vet care. So you need to be over 18 to sign a consent form to have an animal registered under your name in a vet clinic. Mm-hmm. So that's a big part of it as well. So let's say if a child decides something, we can't actually accept that decision because they're a minor. We need an adult there.
Absolutely.
And they don't have control of their own finances.
That's true, but neither do I.
But that makes them, that takes a big part of, veterinary decision making into play where, of course the child is going to want to do the best possible option for their pet. Mm. But they don't actually know the reality of their family's financial situation. So that actually becomes a really difficult conversation.
Yeah, sure.
When, of course, you want to do the best thing possible, but they just don't know how
financially cannot.
Money works, which is you're a child.
Right.
So what my thing is, only get a pet for your child if you want a pet. If you are able to care and you want to care for that pet.
And only have a child if you want a child.
Oh, sweet Jesus, yes, absolutely.
Don't do it to save a relationship or because your partner really wants one.
Yeah, but like your child can be involved in the care of the pet, absolutely.
Right,
and I think that's a really great teaching opportunity.
So it
is
a good teaching opportunity.
It is, but you have to want the pet. And
yeah, sure.
I feel that watching the adult, take that responsibility on is so much better than a child being like, I guess I have to be I don't even know what that word means.
Yeah.
And your child can actually see how a pet should be cared for. So you're setting that example for that child. And, caveat, no children, we'll never have children apart from rabbits. But one thing that we do in human and veterinary medicine is you see one, you do one, you teach one. So if you're trying to learn a procedure...
Sorry, say that again?
You see one, you do one, and you teach one.
Okay.
So if you're trying to do a procedure, first you have to watch someone else do it.
Right.
And then you perform it yourself, and then you've got to teach that to someone else.
Right,
The first step is always to see one. So the child can see the adult do the best for the pet.
Right.
So I think that's such a better way than just kind of throwing a hamster at your child and being like, off you go, he's your child now. The kid's like 4. Which is
I think isn't it? Yeah,
how I
that's
learned
sort
how
of
to
a
take care of
classic.
animals.
It is sort of a classic trope of the pet ownership thing of like, oh, we'll get a dog, but it's your dog. You have to walk it. You have to clean up after it. All that kind of stuff.
And the thing is, the kid can be all right. This is part of your job, but they're a kid, man. You can't just give them that kind of responsibility.
Yeah.
And go, all right, sink or swim.
I mean, I do definitely see where you're coming from because your priority is the animal. You don't care about kids.
I am, yeah.
But a parent wants to teach their child something, right? So I guess what you're saying is you could do that, but then you need to be the fail-safe, right? You need to make your own commitment to that animal's well-being.
Yeah. You need to be the example.
I feel like you've seen a lot of rabbits surrendered.
Oh, it's really bad.
They were gotten for a kid.
Yeah.
The parent doesn't care.
Yeah.
kid doesn't know how to do it, or they're a bad kid, whatever. And like the animal just gets neglected to the point that horrible things happen.
Horrible things happen, and
then they end up coming in for care, and then you guys are like, you can't have this rabbit. Like, you can't have it back.
Yeah, but also, like, those situations, you know, I always go, what are you teaching the child? That you can just euthanize your problems? That they're not going to have any consequences for, you know, neglecting this animal?
Euthanize your problems does sound like a maybe like a indie band's
that is a good
title track.
That's a really good. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Euthanize your problems is great.
That's it. Filing that for later, my next venture. But yeah, I see this all the time.
Yeah.
I think one thing that really hurts me in my heart, my tiny little heart, every time they come in, is we've got this rabbit with incisor malocclusion. Kid's really sweet. Kid's
Can you describe what that is for a layman?
Yeah, sorry. So the front teeth don't match up, so they just keep growing and growing.
Oh.
Yeah, so they end up being...
If they match up, they sort of grind on each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So they don't match up at all, and they just keep growing and growing. And Kid's really sweet. Like, she comes in, but you can tell that the parent does not care about the pet, and it's a huge hassle for him every time she comes in.
Right.
And, you know, because we have to say, we go, hey, you know, we need to see him earlier next time and all that. And of course the kid wants to do it, but she doesn't have control of that situation. She's got to rely on the dad.
Sure.
And it's been getting half-ass care for years and years because the dad just doesn't care.
Right.
And that's sucky for the kid and sucky for the rabbit as well. I feel really
Although
bad
I do
for her.
like to picture the kid like on, like I said, a big wheels or a green machine or whatever, like bicycling in the rabbit to the clinic.
Aww,
that to me is very cute.
It's very cute.
Obviously the reality of the situation is probably very sad.
It's very sad. Like
Sure.
the amount of begging she must do to be like, Dad, please let me go to the
Please,
vet.
Dad.
Oh, it's so sad.
let me get medical care for my animal.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah, brutal.
And the other thing, I see a lot of broken legs, which is horrific.
Right.
Just horrific. And that's usually the wake-up call that a lot of parents have when they go, oh, my child actually is not ready for 100% responsibility for another living being. That's their wake-up call, a broken limb.
I feel like a lot of adults are not ready for that either. A lot of parents are not ready for that.
The Tiny Vet Podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.